The Sistine Chapel, the Mona Lisa, the David, that one botched fresco of Jesus. All of these magnificent works of art fall short of the glory that is the posters for the movie we're looking at today. When I saw these posters, I knew I had to see this film. Hello all, and welcome to the Graveyard. I'm Cody and I'll be your graveskeeper this evening. Halloween may be over, but there is always another holiday right around the corner. So today we're digging up a Thanksgiving horror movie called The Granny. I saw it described on Wikipedia as one of the finer pieces of trash. Now the problem was actually finding the damn thing. Apparently it saw a small release in a few theaters back in 1995, but it was mainly released direct to VHS, with seemingly no re-releases since, including streaming services. Because of that, the clips you see today are going to be VHS quality, so just understand that that's not a choice on my part, it's the only option. Anyways, let's get to the show. Our movie opens in the medieval era with two parents praying for their demonic daughter when a medicine man walks in. The couple blames his medicine for her current state, but he then chides them for not following his instructions, which included not drinking it before sundown.
Tell me, woman, did you give her the elixir straight away that morning, or did you wait until the sun had disappeared, as I instructed?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. We love her. She's just an innocent girl. I'm just an innocent girl.
Also, you might notice the daughter acts suspiciously Deadite-like. Yeah, as the movie goes on, you'll notice it pulls from various successful horror franchises. As the parents are about to leave, the daughter appears human, drawing in the father so she can do whatever this is.
Father, put your head between my legs and lick me. I promise I have no teeth down there.
Seeing the danger, the medicine man sends the mother away. The daughter then attempts to seduce the medicine man by getting naked, and despite knowing full well the nature of this creature, and having seen her do the exact same trick not 30 seconds ago, he falls for it like a moron. But don't worry, he defeats her with the power of the sun. Cue the title card with the best digital graphic effects their $750,000 budget could afford. Fast forward to modern day, well, the 90s anyway, and Kelly is helping her grandmother, Anastasia, the titular Granny, take her medicine. Kelly knocks over one of the pill bottles, prompting Granny to imply she's both uncoordinated and ugly.
I'm sorry, Granny. We can't all be graceful, or beautiful for that matter. Right, Wolfgang?
Nice. Throughout the scene, the two actresses offer stark contrast in their acting styles. Granny's actress is bombastic and really a great fit for the role, whereas Kelly seems like she's overdosed on muscle relaxants. She's like this nearly the whole movie, showing zero emotion whatsoever in most scenes.
Special I sent off for.
Granny, I hate watching you throw your money away to every snake oil salesman that promises some sort of magic elixir.
Well, it's my money, isn't it? God knows I've got enough of it.
Anyways, Granny goes on a tangent about how her family is a huge pack of vultures, while using that as an opportunity to once again insult Kelly.
You mark my words. They are up to no good. I don't trust them. Never have, never will. Granny's gonna take real good care of you. Even after I'm gone. God knows you're no good on your own and no man would have you. Oh, my poor little Cinderella. It's true, nobody would have you but me. Not even your own family. The bastards!
Why do we have to have them over every Thanksgiving?
Like I always say, keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Ha!
It turns out Granny is having her family, whom she hates, over for dinner for some reason.
Oh my god, the soup.
Kelly leaves to check on the soup before they arrive, but uh-oh, too late, here they are. Now, not all of the family really gets much spotlight, but the ones that do are cartoonishly exaggerated stereotypes. Kelly's own immediate family is composed of Albert, the well-to-do aloof dad, Junior, the too-cool-for-school half-brother, and Andrea, the alcoholic stepmother. The only family member with any redeeming qualities is her half-sister Amy. By the way, get used to the Albert character looking bug-eyed because it's pretty much his default facial expression whenever anything happens. As dinner approaches, Kelly and her mother have a very normal human interaction.
Make yourselves at home. Dinner's almost ready.
Padded hanger.
Look, lady, I get that your coat is nice, but maybe thanks, I'll be there in a second would suffice? Kelly retires to check on the soup like she was going to, as her family insults her from the other room.
Speaking of the dead, somebody should tell Kelly to quit using embalming fluid as beauty aid.
Yeah, what a loser.
Regular freak show around here.
Shh. She might hear you.
Meanwhile, someone slips a chemical into Granny's portion. Back in the main room, Granny greets her family by scaring the shit out of her youngest granddaughter.
Amy! Albert!
Mother, my dear.
Hey, Mom.
David.
Junior, give your grandmother a kiss.
No way.
Junior!
Good. I don't want his slobbery lips on me anyway.
After the, pleasantries, Granny gets her only character facet that isn't just being mean. A love of wrestling.
Soup's on, Mother.
I'll eat when I'm damn good and ready.
But, Mother, the soup's...
Shut up, Albert. I'm trying to watch my show. Now get out of here, all of you. Scat! Yes.
Back downstairs, it's 35 minutes into the film, and Kelly decides to show actual emotion against the family.
No,
Look at this lumpy mess.
No, Andrea.
No offense, dear, but it hardly looks edible.
That's the way Granny likes it, and if you don't like it, that's just too bad.
What was that?
I said if you don't like it, you don't have to eat it.
How rude! Albert, did you hear what she said?
Well, my dear, I think you asked for that one.
Albert!
Kelly, apologize to Andrea immediately. Kelly!
Whoa. Kelly, what do you think you're doing?
I'm putting Granny's soup in the pot.
Like this.
Having developed a similar love of wrestling as Granny, Junior decides his sister no longer deserves a spine.
What happens?
You try to take me down. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Go! Ow! 1, 2, 3. I win! The crowd goes wild! Wait! Now you get to do it to me! Come back here, squirt! There's no escaping your mother's hand!
No running.
Oh, shut up! I'm gonna get you!
Anastasia Gargoli?
A mysterious man arrives with a package for Granny. However, when they go to get her, she's literally threatening to wrestle Junior despite being in a wheelchair because he called wrestling fake.
Come on, Granny.
You're in a wheelchair. I'd murderize you.
Don't do it. He's mean.
What's the matter? You chicken?
Chicken, Peter, you just a little chicken. Chip, 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 chip.
Okay, Granny, you're on. Turd.
Bitch.
Kelly leaves the room to allow Granny and her mysterious visitor time to speak amongst themselves, only to find that her family has regressed to the emotional maturity of third grade.
Who was that, Kelly?
I don't know.
Kind of unusual for Granny to be receiving gifts, isn't it?
He gave me the creeps.
Yeah, let's go kick his ass.
I thought he was handsome.
Well, you don't get out much, Kelly, so I suppose anything in pants looks good to you.
That's not true, and he is handsome.
Oh, yes, a regular knight in shining armor.
Your prince.
Of darkness.
Yeah, Kelly, what are you gonna do, marry him?
Why was her whole family just gathered down there waiting for her? Are they that obsessed with making her life miserable? Really? Meanwhile, back in the meeting between Granny and the stranger, The man introduces himself as Mr. Ami, while Granny tells him a little bit more about her family.
Wonderful at is their capacity for greed and treachery, Mr.
You may call me Namun Ami.
Well, Mr. Ami.
I don't mean any disrespect, but my family is a pack of vultures. Vultures and crows, monkeys and magpies. All except one, Kelly. She's the only one with a decent bone in her body.
Afterwards, Mr. Ami brings out the package he brought, and says that the package he has will allow her to live forever. Ami explains he's from a secret organization whose job is to do good throughout the world, so they go around giving the best and most morally upright people the elixir so they can continue their work indefinitely. Now, why would such an organization pick Granny, you ask?
What the hell did I do to deserve this? There must be other people more worthy.
We have our reasons. We choose our candidates most carefully. For instance, we know that you've secretly donated over $1 million to humanitarian causes this year alone, yet you've cut your own family out of your will.
Wait, she donated $1 million? Now you might be worried, this bad film might start getting, well written. They might have a character with depth, in the form of Granny, a bitter old woman who secretly has a heart of gold, but no, they just never bring this up again. Regardless, Ami directs that the bottle should not be consumed until after sundown, just like the scene in the beginning of the film, and the bottle itself must be kept out of direct sunlight or it will mutate. So Granny thanks Ami, and as she leaves to show him the door, she leaves the bottle out, of course, with zero protection. Like, she could have at least wrapped it in the same cloth the dude brought it in, but no, I guess. I'm sure it'll be fine. Once they're both gone, Kelly decides to open the blinds, and oh no, who could have predicted this? So yeah, the elixir starts bubbling blood red, which is just always a great sign. And the cat decides to have a taste. Speaking of taste, now it's time for dinner.
Into the dining room, hop to it.
Dinner with my loving family, my angel. Watch where you're going, you little bastard.
Sorry, Granny.
Pets!
How come we always gotta have roast beef? Why can't we have turkey like the rest of America?
Oh, thank goodness it's not turkey. Now I don't have to think of a Thankskilling reference. After this, the movie shows us what fate will befall anyone who drinks from the bottle by way of the cat.
Wolfgang! Where is that damn cat?
Everyone awkwardly watches Granny, waiting for her to drink the poisoned soup, and they would have gotten away with it too if it wasn't for that meddling kid.
Why is everybody staring at Granny?
We're not staring, Amy.
Yes, you are. You all look like you're waiting for Granny to swallow poison or something.
Amy, darling, it's not nice to say things like that.
Well, it's true.
Mom, children at this age have incredible imaginations. In fact, they can also be amazing little liars.
I'm not a liar.
Now look what you did. What I did? You're the kid's father, for crying out loud. I'd say her lack of breeding is entirely on your head.
You make me sick.
But Mother...
You're a load I should have swallowed.
But Mother,
Shut your mouth.
So things don't go entirely to plan for the family, with Granny failing to drink the poison, but she has a heart attack anyway, so mission accomplished, I guess. The movie uses the moment to have the sons give the audience exposition about how they switched her actual will with one that gives all of the family a cut of her fortune.
Look, Albert, I took care of my part of the bargain. That will is a perfect piece of forgery. Now, when are you going to stop being such a panty waste about this?
And what do you suggest, you thumb-sucking bedwetter, huh? Something inconspicuous like smothering her with a pillow?
Oh, that's a very good idea. Very effective and to the point. Yeah, God forbid you should get your hands dirty in this.
Shh.
Look at the two of you standing there like vultures. Probably plotting on how to try to kill me. Vultures, all of you.
It smells so good.
Believe it or not, she actually looks better.
Wonderful.
Why do you even keep up this charade? You're all only interested in one thing, Granny's money. Why don't you admit it? She can't die soon enough for any of you. This family is cursed with greed.
I hate you all!
Come here, please. I need you.
Kelly is showing emotion 2 times in one day. Careful though, Kelly, you don't want to get too crazy there. Right before Granny calls her back up to her room in one of the only genuinely well-written scenes in the entire movie, in which Granny urges Kelly she needs to take risks in her life for it to be worthwhile.
You don't have to end up like me. An ugly, lonely old woman. I spent too many years not loving, not trusting, not living. If I did have a second chance, there's no telling what might happen. Don't you make the same mistakes I made, you hear?
I have to go. I'm gonna start your soup. You call me if you need anything.
It's a legitimately interesting scene in which an aging woman accepts that despite her enormous wealth, she cannot stave off death, and she wants the only family member she still cares about to have a better life than her own. She also heavily implies that, despite constantly insulting her, her real will leaves everything to Kelly. It's kind of odd considering this is a horror comedy movie and really contrasts with the rest of the film. It's just too bad the rest of the movie wasn't this well written. Later that night, despite believing the bottle won't really do anything, Granny decides to drink the corrupted elixir, after which she collapses and dies, being found by Kelly delivering her soup.
Granny? Granny, it's time for your soup.
Granny? Granny? Granny!
This is literally the last time Kelly will show actual emotion for the rest of the film. At the reading of the will, it is announced that each family member will receive $50 million apiece, except for Kelly, who will receive the comical sum of $1. Despite this maybe warranting a closer examination of the legitimacy of the will, Kelly has once again taken too many Xanax and decides not to dispute it when asked by the lawyer.
I never wanted any of Granny's money, even though I deserve it more than any of you. This just can't be right.
Are you saying that you're disputing the will?
No. Let them have it.
Look, I don't know about you, but if I knew someone stole everything left to me by my only family member that cared, I would fight it in court purely to punish them. Money aside. Give the money to a charity or something. I don't care, just don't let them have it. Come on, Kelly. So of course, the family has a not crass at all memorial party in which 2 of the family members do something that I think vaguely can be defined as flirting.
Do you want me as badly as I want you?
Oh, yeah.
I have to tell you, I'm into total honesty.
Oh, so am I.
Good. Are you happy being single?
Why?
Because I don't think that you are. And if you want me, you're gonna have to choose. Bachelorhood or me.
I mean, yes, that is how that works. If you start dating someone, you stop being single, correct?
Could we negotiate this? I would suggest a trial period. You see, that way we could see if both parties were satisfied before actually closing the deal.
Oh, I think you'll be more than satisfied with these.
Okay.
Besides, I can bring more than this to the party.
Such as?
Such as my part of the inheritance.
You do that.
For you, I would. We can join forces. Think of it as a collective bargaining agreement.
Maximize our returns.
Profit from our investment.
Look, maybe I just don't know how to date, but I'm not entirely convinced this is how human relationships work, but sure. When you're watching a bad comedy movie, you often stumble upon moments where you can't tell if it's trying to be funny or is just unknowingly bizarre. It could go either way. While the party's going on, the world's worst mortuary assistant has brought the world's most nasally woman to look at Granny for some reason, which makes her horny?
Dead.
I've never seen a rich person dead before. It's kind of a turn on.
Anyway, she convinces the dude to steal one of Granny's rings for her, and he goes to get a saw because it's on too tight. But right before he can cut her finger,
Don't worry, honey. I'll have this all for you in
Granny's back. $50 minutes in, and we finally have our slasher villain with our first kill. Don't get me wrong, I don't mind a slow burn horror film. There's plenty of movies where the first on-screen kill takes a while. Halloween is one of those films. I went back and checked, and it takes 53 minutes for Michael to kill on screen. But the thing is, there's a slow build-up to that. You know something's wrong. You see Michael in the back of every frame. You see Dr. Loomis constantly warning, more and more desperately, that Michael is evil and he's gonna kill again. Right? There is a definite threat. But that's just not true here. Granny doesn't die until 45 minutes into the film. We know nothing's gonna happen until she drinks the potion. So there's no suspense as to when the kills are going to happen, because we're just now getting an actual antagonist. Back at the party, now that Granny is dead, Albert and his wife can finally enter his father's study, who, based on the furniture, I really hope is a gynecologist. Despite the two seemingly getting frisky, his wife suddenly changes her mind and decides to go look at Granny's fur coat collection. This is where Granny finally makes her entrance into the party to take revenge on all of her relatives.
What is this? Is that a joke? Help me! Somebody! This isn't funny. Who's there? Who's that? Who's that? What's going on here?
That's right. The bitch is back.
This is the point where the film begins borrowing heavily from A Nightmare on Elm Street. For the rest of the movie, Granny's dialogue mostly consists of one-liners, and she seemingly has power to affect any object near her, similar to Freddy's power over dreams, and uses this to tie up Albert and cut him to death with a scalpel. Downstairs, the other family members can tell something's wrong. It's probably the crooked camera angle. That always means something bad is happening. Meanwhile, Andrea is doing her best Cruella de Vil impersonation with Granny's fur coats. These are literally the only vocalizations she makes the whole scene, at least until Granny shows up.
Don't you know fur is dead?
Granny?
She then makes the stuffed animal accessories come alive and eat her while Granny cracks one of her patented one-liners.
I guess you might say that looking beautiful is an all-consuming passion.
Oh, Granny, you comedian. Back upstairs, one of the relatives is dancing in a mirror naked. I'm not even sure this woman's name or relation to Granny are ever mentioned, so we'll just call her fan service. Anyways, Granny does this weird Spider-Man thing in fan service's back window and kills her off screen, I guess. We never see her alive again, so I guess she's dead now. That's how much the writers actually cared about this character. Once she showed her boobs, they were done with her. Afterwards, Granny takes on the form of fan service and seduces Uncle David into a bed where she does things that would demonetize any YouTube channel. Fortunately, I'm not monetized, so here's the scene. Okay, yeah, no, that last part's just gonna get me banned. Let's censor that. Man, I need to start shopping where Granny shops. My scissors can barely cut through that kinda stretchy plastic without getting stuck, let alone through a human spine. Kelly still isn't aware that Granny's back, but she's seen enough Evil Dead to know where this is going, so she grabs the appropriate weaponry and finds her father murdered in the study and her now headless uncle in the bedroom. What follows might be the most unintentionally hilarious scene in the whole movie.
I heard you were having a party! Mind if I crash?
Kelly doesn't make a single sound or show any emotion in the scene beyond mild annoyance. It's like this is the third time this week a door has fallen on her. Granny ignores Kelly for some reason, opting for a wrestling rematch with her grandson, Junior, complete with her as the announcer.
Come on, come on.
The crowd goes wild. Granny heaves his body over her head and pummels him down with a neck.
She then kills Junior by breaking his neck on the floor and sets her sights on her last relative, Amy. But before she can do anything, Kelly blasts Granny with the shotgun. Nice, Granny is completely dead and will never darken their lives again, except there's 20 minutes left of this film. Kelly and Amy try to leave, but Granny has chained the gate in such a way that only Amy can fit. So instead of, I don't know, climbing over or finding another way, Kelly sends a little girl by herself into the rain to go find help all the way into town. Which she actually does find, the dude from the secret organization that gave Granny the elixir. Of course, Kelly goes back and finds Granny has pulled a Michael Myers, so I'm sure you're surprised at that if you haven't watched a film since like 1973. Now, the movie kind of turns into Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Granny has resurrected all the family members she killed to continue the Thanksgiving dinner. You see, while Granny was studying the dark arts, though, Kelly was studying the blade. She understands the glory of Nippon steel folded 1,000 times over. But she's sadly thwarted when Granny's long-deceased husband returns at last in what is honestly a pretty cool practical effect puppet.
Daddy!
My
Something you all make me sick.
Kelly ends up being subdued, but Amy arrives to distract the family while Ami tends to Kelly and they kiss, fulfilling a romance that was hinted at when he first visited, but that I didn't mention because it is stupid and goes nowhere. You'll thank me later. As Kelly and Ami are making plans, fan service attacks Kelly, but before she can do any damage, Ami uses a giant magic sword to permanently kill her. Where was this dude keeping this thing? Unfortunately, Granny does manage to capture Amy by using her mother's form.
Mommy, I'm so scared. I thought you were one of them.
It's all right, Amy. It's all right now.
That's right, Amy. Always listen to your mother. After all, mother knows best.
This allows her to use Amy to lure Ami and Kelly into the climax of the movie. Granny uses the Force to steal the Holy Blade, which I'm not sure how she can do that. If the blade is holy, you'd think it'd be immune or something, but at this point I'm putting more thought into this one plot device than the writers did into the entire script. Ami stupidly decides to face Granny alone, leading to the greatest death scene in the movie by far.
I have to thank you for one thing.
What would that be?
I feel better than I felt in years.
You have corrupted the power of the creature!
Well, what did you expect, you pious fuck? I'm Granny!
Yeah, I told you the romance came to nothing.
You bitch.
Well, will you look at the time? It's time for Granny's evil villain monologue.
I was gonna give you everything, don't you know? But those weasels screwed you out of it. And did you really think you were gonna ride off into the sunset with that?
No, but I liked him.
He probably just wanted your money. Boy, was he in for a big surprise. But the money means nothing now. Because you are gonna inherit something much better.
What do you mean?
You are gonna get a second chance. A second chance at making this world into the scum pit it really is. A world filled with greed and corruption. You're gonna get a shot at all the people who made fun of you, who hurt you. You're gonna get to burn them. Burn them all. I got my second chance, now you're gonna get yours.
You don't frighten me.
After all this happens, Granny asks Kelly what she fears the most. Kelly replies, nothing, to which Granny replies, we all fear something, and then shows her a mirror which turns her old, I guess. So her fear is getting old? I mean, that's fine, a lot of people are scared of that, but it's never mentioned anywhere in the movie except here, and it has literally no bearing on the plot.
And now, I'm gonna eat you for lunch.
So Kelly and Granny end up in what I can best describe as like a middle school playground fight, I guess. Until eventually Granny goes back to her wrestling roots and, by God, it's Granny with a wooden chair. Eventually they end up tussling in the apartment from Silent Hill 4, The Room, I guess, before Amy finally snaps out of it, sliding the holy sword to Kelly, who then yeets it directly into Granny's chest, doing absolutely nothing.
Now I'm gonna ram this up your ass, just like I did your boyfriend.
So she just kind of opens the blinds instead, defeating Granny and all her minions for good. Now, you might think it would be difficult to explain a situation like this to the police, and take it from me, it is. But don't even worry, Kelly's got a plan.
Do you think they'll believe us?
I don't know why not. It's almost the truth. Granny faked her own death, discovered her family had forged a will, and murdered them.
She used high explosives, huh?
That's right.
Well, it was one crazy coot, that's for sure. No offense.
None taken.
She must also have gotten over Ami real quick, because it's only been like 10 minutes since he died, and she's already flirting with one of the cops.
I will.
We'll be in touch.
Now, of course, this is a budget slasher flick, so we gotta have that real quick sequel hook in case somebody actually watches this and wants more.
It's just you and me now, Amy. The others were weak. But you and I are strong. I've got hope for you. You've got potential.
Bet your ass, bitch!
And that was The Granny. So what are we to make of this movie? Well, it's obviously bad, the script is very poorly written, and the acting ranges everywhere from stiff as a board to nonsensically enthusiastic. I'm kind of surprised it doesn't have a cult following of sorts, but I think there are 3 reasons for that. Firstly, the fact that it had just one release on VHS in the United States obviously limited its reach. Second, it really fails to establish its own character as a movie, instead drawing on several horror franchises for inspiration, while developing none of its own. Lastly, movies that develop a cult following usually at least attempt character development, Tommy Wiseau's The Room being an obvious example. In fact, the parts where Tommy is supposed to be going through emotional trauma are arguably the most entertaining parts of the movie. This movie doesn't even attempt that, which is a shame. Every character is one-dimensional, but Anastasia herself wasn't a lost cause. She showed cracks in her outwardly bitter shell and how much she loved Kelly, and she was ultimately an excellent judge of character, only ever embracing Amy and Kelly while correctly dismissing the rest of her family as gold diggers. They could have done so much more with her character. That being said, the actress who plays Anastasia clearly did the best with what she was given, and her role is far and away the most entertaining in the movie. And it's worth a watch just to see how much fun she's having in the role. So if you can find the movie, give it a watch. Until then, I will see you all at the next video. Good night, and have a lovely Thanksgiving.